Hello and welcome to this session on navigating the digital library. In this session we're going to have a look at some of the main features and services that you can use, and we're going to do a walkthrough of the Library and IT Services web pages. So because we're talking about the digital library, we've landed on the home page here that you can see, Library and IT Services, but if we just go up to the top here, you'll see the second tab along is the digital library. So if we go in here, this will give us access to everything that we can access that's available online. Okay, so from this page we have a number of quick links that we've highlighted just here for ease of access, and we're going to come back and have a look at some of those in a bit more detail as we go through this particular session. As we scroll down, you can see that there are different ways of finding information. So on this page, if you're actually looking for a particular type of publication, so for example if you're looking for newspapers, which are a great primary source for materials and also to give you contextual information of things that might be happening within your field, we have a link here to searching for newspapers. And then this will give you an overview of the different newspaper collections that we have available to you whilst you're studying at the University of Kent. So some of them will be archive collections, so if you're looking at them from the perspective of historical information, then there are a huge amount that you can access from the links available. There's also by individual newspapers, so we have a Nexus database that gives you a list of all the different titles that you can search and check the publications for. And then we have the current newspapers, so if you just want to access contemporary news, then they are the sites that you can have a look at. And there's lots of other things as well. So for example, if you're studying law and you want to find legal materials, if you were to click on the legal materials section here, that will then take you through to our guide on finding information via the electronic law library, and again it will outline the key resources that you will have a look at. So the key databases for UK law, so things like Lexis Library and Westlaw, and others as well for different types of international materials. And then we have things available around special collections, official publications, theses and dissertations, and open access articles and books. So you can see there's a huge range of ways that you can search for different types of resources. What we're going to focus on now though is our actual gateway into our main sort of digital collections, which is through Library Search Digital. And if we go back up to the highlighted services, we can see that there's a quick link into it here. So I'm just going to click there. And then we'll go into Library Search Digital. So in here you'll find the majority of collections that are available, and it will range from things such as books, electronic journal articles, it could be magazines, it could be conference proceedings, it could be reviews of particular books, a whole range of different things that might be useful depending on your kind of subject area that you're studying. So I'm just going to do a quick demonstration of a search just to show you how that works. So if we go back up into the top search box there, and I'm just going to search for a book. So the easiest way when you're looking for a book is to use the surname of the author if you have those details available, and some keywords from the main title. But you can also search Library Search by topic or particular people. There's a whole range of different ways that you can use to search it. Okay, so I'm just doing a search for more and study skills, and then we will run the search. Okay, and then we will get the results back down there in the centre of the screen. And you can see that the one that I'm looking for is actually the top entry, so it's the Ultimate Study Skills Handbook by Sarah Moore. Now, if I want to actually access that ebook, I have a link to the ebook just over to the side there, and I can select that. And that will take me to the landing page for that particular ebook. Now, if I wanted to read it online, I've got the option to read it online. I also have the option to download it. Our preference is if you have like stable internet access, it's always better to read it online, because when you download it, it can take the title out of circulation for other people to use for a little while whilst you're using it. So if I click on read online, you'll see that it takes me into the book. So we also have print copies of this book available, and this is exactly the same as a print copy available online. It has a few additional features in that you can actually search within the book if you wanted to. So if you were looking for a particular topic area, something around study skills, you can actually search within that book. You can also jump into particular sections as well if you want to, and that will give you an overview of that. You can use the arrows at the top there to jump you through and navigate through if you want to, and you can also use other features. So for example, you can print off a chapter or 10%, whichever is greater out of those two. You can change accessibility features such as the background colours. You can make your own personal notes within there that you can come back to. So some really, really helpful features within there. Okay, so let's just go back into our main Library Search digital homepage. So just to talk a little bit about the search screen, so we run that quick search there for that particular ebook, and you might notice that there are a couple of columns either side of the search results in the middle. So the ones that are on the left, library resources, tend to apply to sort of the book materials. So in this case, it's the electronic books. And then the ones on the other side tend to refer to our subscription resources. So things like journal article databases. So if we run a different search now, we can try selecting some of the filters on this side to demonstrate how that works. Okay, so this time I'm just going to do a search for a phrase. So I'm going to do freedom of expression. And I've put that in quotation marks because then it will search for those words next to each other rather than in different sections. And then I'm going to add that with another term, and I'm going to put human rights. And again, I could do that as a phrase search if I wanted to as well for the human rights. And then I'm just going to run my search. Okay, so we've got just over 4,500 results coming back here, and this time instead of filtering it down to electronic books, what I'm going to do is use the filters on the other side for the subscription resources. So there's a number of different things that you can use to limit it by. So you can limit it by academic journals, which is the peer-reviewed journals link there. You can put in a publication date range, which is particularly useful if you're looking at a subject that needs to be quite up to date. So something like human rights, if you're looking at the legal aspects of that, you obviously want to look at something that's very contemporary. So you might want to put in a date range within there. You can also do it by source type, so if you just want to look for academic journals, you can select that. And also it highlights some of the different subjects that have come up as part of your overall search results. So if you want to focus in on any of those, such as freedom of speech, for example, you can click on that link and then that will just add all of those ones together for you. Now, in terms of accessing any of these that you're interested in accessing, then you can have a look next to each one and you'll see they'll have like a little full text link available. So if you wanted to have a look and see what we have access to, it's just a case of clicking on that particular title. So if we select this one here, Expanding International LGBTQ Rights, if I click on the full text link, if you do get this screen, a stale request, it is a known issue that we are working to resolve at the moment, and the advice is that if you do see that, if we just go back, so I'm just going to close that down and go back in and try a second time. and now we see this page. So basically this page shows us where we can find access to this particular resource. So it's available via a database called Hein Online, but it's also available via the Michigan State International Law Review. So I can click on to the Hein Online link. And then that will take me through to the article that then I can sort of read online or download a PDF version if I want to, or another version, and have a look at that. So that is how you access all of those sorts of resources there. Okay, so that's a very kind of quick look at library search in terms of retrieving either electronic books or other subscription sort of journal articles and papers. Now, as I said, you can find the majority of what you're looking for through Library Search Digital, but you won't get access to everything. It may be because some of the other resources we subscribe to are not compatible with Library Search, or it might be to do with the type of resource, so for example multimedia resources. So the other service that's really useful is our digital resources directory. So if I click through to the digital resources directory, this lists everything that the university subscribes to. So there are a number of different ways that you can filter it. You can put in your own keywords to filter it, or you can select a subject from the drop down box. So for example, if we wanted to say we're looking for some resources to do with architecture, for example, that will then give us a list of all of the databases that are relevant to architecture. Some of these will be cross-disciplinary, and some of them will be much more sort of subject focused, such as this one here, Art Design and Architecture Collection, or Art and Architecture Source. You can also filter it by type. So if we drop down this list, for example, if we were looking for multimedia resources, I can select that one, and then it shows me the ones that will have multimedia content. So you have things like the Filmmakers Library Online, Canopy streaming video service, and then if you wanted to access any of these, it's just a case of selecting the link, and then that will give you the link to then go through and access that particular resource. And you just log into your Kent University credentials, and then that will give you access to scroll and access the films that are available through Canopy for you. So this is a really useful resource to be aware of. A couple of other things that are also very useful in terms of digital library. So just going back into Library Search Digital, obviously just a little while ago we were searching on a particular subject in terms of the freedom of expression and human rights, but if you wanted to look for it in terms of browsing journals by subject, there's a link here to browse e-journals by subject. So if I select that link, that takes us into our new resource browsing, which gives you access to browse all of the journals that we subscribe to at Kent. And you can see from this home page, if we scroll down, there are various links. So if I clicked on the Law and Legal Studies, for example, I can see all of the different journal titles that will be available to access. And again, you can click into those if you want to. You can also search for something. So if I put in something on human rights, it will pick up any links on human rights. And again, if I click on the Human Rights Quarterly here, that will take me into that particular journal, and then I can have a scroll through and look at the articles that are available within there. The other really useful feature that you can link to from Library Search Digital, and also from the Digital Library homepage on the Library and IT Services web pages, is the subject library resource guides. So every course and every subject within the divisions are all supported by a divisional liaison librarian. And this gives you a list of all of the subjects. So it's just a case of having a scroll through to see which is your librarian. So for example, if I have a look at one of the subjects that I currently support, so SPSSR, so if I click onto this link here, this is the subject guide. So it will tell you who your divisional liaison librarian is. It also gives you the opportunity to book an appointment with them, and that can be in person or via Teams if you need any help with carrying out your searches or using particular resources, any sort of guidance really on the library resources or the sort of skills that you need to use those resources. And it will tell you the purpose of the guide, and it may break it down into various different sub sort of categories or sub themes of that overall sort of library guide that you can click in and have a look at. Things like getting started, researching for assignments, give you some kind of key things of what you might need to do. And there might be some videos in there that you can watch. So do take a look at some of those and maybe bookmark them for your particular discipline that you're studying, because it means then that you can just go back to that whenever you're ready without having to remember all the different names of the resources. It will highlight all of them for you within those resource guides. Okay, so that is really kind of the overview of using Library Search and digital and the digital library. So I hope you found that useful. If you need any more help or advice, please don't hesitate to get in touch with your divisional liaison librarian or come in and visit us in the library, where we'll be more than happy to help you.